Ava had waited 2 years for this weekend. Her fiancé, Michael, had planned a surprise trip out of town. He told her to pack light, wear something warm, and trust him. And Ava? She was in love enough to believe in fairy tales. They drove up to a small lake house, quiet, cozy, wrapped in pine trees. The kind of place where time slows down, and you forget the world outside. It was beautiful. It felt perfect. Until the second night. Michael said he needed to go into town to pick up wine. That was 3 hours ago. No calls. No texts. Just silence. Ava tried to stay calm. Maybe he got stuck. Maybe there was no signal. But something in her chest wouldn't settle. A pull? A whisper. Something was off. She grabbed her coat and keys and got in the car. The town was small. One road, a gas station, a bar, and a grocery store. As she pulled into the parking lot of the store, she saw it, Michael's black SUV. Parked. Engine off. Lights out. But he wasn't alone. Through the foggy windshield, she saw a girl. Blonde. Young. Sitting close. Laughing. Then he leaned in and kissed her. Not a friendly kiss. Not a mistake. A kiss that undid everything. Ava couldn't breathe. She didn't cry, didn't scream. She just sat there in the driver's seat, frozen, heart hammering. Who was that girl? Why? How long? Michael pulled away from the girl and stepped out of the car. Ava ducked, hiding behind her steering wheel. He walked toward the store, smiling, casual, like he wasn't just burning down their future with his lips. Ava followed him. Quiet. Careful. And that's when she heard it. He was on the phone. Laughing. Speaking head? Yeah, she still thinks we're getting married next month. Poor thing's already picked out her dress. Her stomach dropped. Speaking head? I told you, I'll leave her after the honeymoon. Just want her dad's money first. Then I'm out. Ava's hands were shaking. Everything she believed, every promise, every kiss, it was all a setup. A game. Ava stood frozen behind the aisle shelf, her breath caught in her throat. Those words. That voice. It was real. Michael had played her. Every hug, every kiss, every plan for the future, it was all a lie. He never loved her. He wanted her father's money. The wedding was a scam. Ava stumbled back toward the car, her legs weak, hands trembling. The ring on her finger felt heavier than ever. Disgusting. Like a chain. She yanked it off and threw it onto the passenger seat. But she didn't cry. Not yet. Back at the lake house, everything looked the same. The fire still burned in the fireplace. Their wine glasses still sat on the table, half full. His jacket hung on the back of the chair. But nothing felt the same. The walls were colder. The silence was heavier. The illusion was shattered. She opened her phone and started recording. Speaking head. Today I found out the man I'm supposed to marry is using me. He's cheating. He's lying. And he's only with me because my father's rich. She didn't know why she recorded it. Maybe she needed proof. Maybe it was the only way to stay sane. She saved the video but didn't post it. Not yet. At 2:11 a.m. the door creaked open. Michael walked in with a fake smile, holding a bottle of wine like nothing happened. Speaking head. Sorry, babe, store was packed. He kissed her on the cheek. She didn't move. Speaking head. Everything okay? Ava stared at him. Speaking head. You love me, right? She asked quietly. He blinked. Of course I do. Why would you ask that? She tilted her head. Just making sure. He smiled again. That same charming, manipulative smile. She almost laughed. That night, she pretended to fall asleep while he showered. Then she grabbed his phone. Locked? Of course. But she had seen his code before. Her birthday. So poetic, it opened. And what she saw made her stomach twist. Photos. Videos. Messages with the blonde girl. Her name was Emily. And not just her. There were others. 3 more women. One even sent him a picture of her in a wedding dress. He was engaged to another woman too? Ava dropped the phone. It clattered on the wooden floor, loud enough to wake a ghost. From the bathroom, Michael called out. Speaking head? Everything all right? She didn't answer. She sat there on the floor, heart in pieces, realizing she wasn't even the only victim. Just one of many. Ava didn't sleep that night. She sat curled up on the couch, watching the fire die in the fireplace. The silence was deafening. Her thoughts screamed louder than any storm. She wasn't angry anymore. She was numb. She had been living in a fairy tale written by a con man. The man she was going to marry, the one she pictured kids with, the one she trusted with her body, her secrets, her heart, was nothing but a scam artist in a nice suit. But what hurt most? He was good at it. He made her believe. By morning, Ava had a plan. She didn't yell. She didn't confront him. She smiled, made him breakfast, kissed his cheek, acted like nothing happened. She asked him if they could go home early, said she wasn't feeling well. Michael, ever the caring fiancé, agreed right away. He was probably eager to get back to juggling the other women. As they drove back into the city, Ava stared out the window, memorizing every crack in the glass, every tree they passed. Because this was the last time she'd see him as the man she once loved. Once home, she called her best friend, Lila. Lila knew everything. And unlike Ava, she didn't believe in soft revenge. Speaking head, "We're burning this guy to the ground," Lila said without hesitation. Together, they made copies of all the messages and photos. Screenshots. Ava and Lila worked like a team on a mission. They made a private folder online, labeled it, "The Real Michael," and filled it with every dirty secret he had. But Ava didn't want to just destroy him silently. She wanted every woman to know the truth. So she found them. Emily, the blonde from the car. Sasha, the one in the wedding dress. Jenna, the girl he promised a trip to Paris. And there was even a woman named Grace, with a baby who looked a little too much like Michael. Ava sent each of them a message. Speaking head, "Hi. I don't know you, but I think we've been lied to by the same man." One by one, they replied. Shock. Confusion. Rage. And finally, unity. These women weren't enemies. They were sisters in betrayal. Michael, of course, had no idea. He continued texting Ava sweet messages, calling her his angel, talking about honeymoon plans. She played along. Until one night, she invited him over for dinner. He walked in with roses. Wine. That same smug smile. Speaking head. "Missed you, babe." She led him to the table. Candles, soft music, just like always. But this time, something was different. On the TV behind her, a file began to play. Photos. Screenshots. His texts. His voice recordings. At first, he didn't notice. Then he heard his own voice. Speaking head. "She'll never find out. I've done this before." Michael froze. The blood drained from his face. He looked at Ava, then at the screen, then back again. Speaking head. "What is this?" She smiled. Speaking head. "Your greatest hits." He stood up, defensive. "This is insane. You went through my phone? That's a violation." Speaking head. "You lied to 5 women." She cut in. "And one of them has your kid." Boom! Silence. Michael had nothing left to say. Then came the knock on the door. He turned. Ava opened it, and behind it stood all 4 women. Emily, Sasha, Jenna, Grace. They didn't say a word, just stared at him. His face went pale. He tried to speak, but no words came. He had nothing left. Michael stood there, surrounded, for women staring at him like strangers, yet they all knew him more than he ever wanted anyone to. He tried to fake a smile. Speaking head, this is a misunderstanding. But no one moved. Grace stepped forward, calm, composed, holding her phone. She pressed play. Speaking head, Michael's voice, recording. That kid isn't mine. She just wants money. His eyes widened. Speaking head, Grace. She's yours. And you will pay. Sasha held up the engagement ring he gave her. Speaking head. You told me I was your only one. Jenna tossed a plane ticket on the table. Speaking head. Paris, huh? Or was that for Emily? Emily didn't say anything. She just walked up to Ava and hugged her. The room was quiet. The liar was cornered. And the victims? United. Michael backed up toward the door. Speaking head. You're all crazy. Ava stepped in front of him. Speaking head. No, Michael. We're finally sane. She handed him an envelope. Inside were the screenshots, the names, the receipts. Speaking head. You have 24 hours to disappear. If you don't, every employer, every client, and every family member you've ever lied to will get a full copy. He opened his mouth, then closed it. He grabbed his coat and left without a word. The moment the door shut, the tension broke. They laughed. They cried. They poured wine. It wasn't just revenge. It was healing. Weeks passed. Michael was gone. Deleted social media. Changed his number. But Ava? She was blooming again. She posted her story online, anonymously. It went viral. Thousands of women shared similar experiences. Messages poured in. Support. Strength. Solidarity. She wasn't alone. She never had been. Microphone months later, Ava stood on a small stage at a local event for women's empowerment. Speaking head. Sometimes love blinds us. But truth sets us free. Applause. Her eyes scanned the crowd. And there, in the back, stood a man she hadn't seen before. Not Michael. Someone new. Gentle smile. Warm eyes. No games. He waited for her after the event. Just to say hello. Speaking head. Your story was powerful. She smiled. Speaking head. It was real. And for the first time in a long time, Ava felt ready to begin again. Not as a victim, but as a survivor.